I saw her clear the bend and freeze, staring off at something I couldn't see yet. She raised her hands up to her mouth, eyes wide and head shaking back and forth. Oh my gosh, what could she have seen? Okay, never mind. I wasn't ready for this. Alright, let's go. Creek? I don't want to know what this is. But I was walking closer anyway, of course. I just had to see what she was seeing. I turned to the corner. A nude corpse was hanging from a tree, a rope tied around its neck. Oh, there was a sack over its head, bound tightly into place with the rope that had hung him. Oh my gosh. Oh, his intestines. Oh, no. This is so... His intestines were hanging out of his sliced open stomach, dangling almost to the ground. One of his legs was completely missing. Who could have done this? This can't be real. It can't. Oh my gosh, Nick, I don't think the bear did that. She was shivering, and it was obvious it wasn't from the cold. We should go to tell, I don't know, somebody. Maybe that friendly face Felix? JK. Who? The road's been closed and all the phones are out. My dad didn't come home this morning either, so he must be stuck in town. Then who's Felix? Wait, all the phones are out? I thought it was just mine. I hate to say, but if we can't get the police up here, I think we need to, record this? Feeling sick, I pulled out my phone. Still no bars. It was useless for making calls, but I could still take pictures or make a video. I can't believe I'm doing this, but someone might need to see this later. Oh my gosh. Even the music is just making me so... Oh, the antsy just like tense up. I hit record on my phone. It felt gross, like I was committing some kind of a crime. Grayson pulled out a pocket knife and looked from it to the creaking rope. There was a thick knot in the wood by the base of the tree that the rope had been fixed around. She started walking toward it. Let her cut the body down? No, stop her. We can't just, like... You can't tamper with the evidence. Wait, there might be something important here. We should at least look around first, you know what I'm saying? You know, we're detectives. We can't touch the evidence just yet. She didn't look happy, but nodded in agreement and stepped back again. Okay, well, I'm obviously not gonna cut him down since, you know, I just told her not to. So I think maybe I'm going to look around at the ground first and see what's around. And then maybe afterwards, we can look at the body and then cut it down. I think that'll work out, right? Yeah? Okay, let's try that. Why don't we check out the ground? Grayson seemed more than eager to stop looking at the body. Yeah. It's a kind of weird, huh? She pointed to the ground and I immediately saw what she was talking about. The only prints were a circle of animal tracks around the base of the hanging corpse. There was blood speckled in the snow below, but not nearly enough for a disemboweled man. No footprints, but who hung the body then? And no drag marks either? There was also a blood-stained divot where the body must have been set before it was strung up. Why aren't there any other prints? Maybe he was hung before the snowstorm? Oh gosh, who could have done such a thing? I looked up toward the corpse, shuddering. Okay, we did the ground already, so let's do the body next. My eyes were locked on the body. I wanted to look away, but it was so horrible that I couldn't. I kept staring at them after they were dead, too. I'm disgusting. His leg, it's been ripped clean off. She was right. Not cut, but ripped. There were stringy ligaments that had frozen like grim icicles where the leg had been torn off. This is gruesomely descriptive. Oh, this is like a red background now. Even though it was night, the ground was still warm from the summer sun. Bree, are you okay? My vision was blurry. Something kept dripping in my eyes. I tried to brush it away, but it was sticky. It's blood. I'm bleeding? I tried to stand up, but a shooting pain arced up my leg and I toppled to the ground again. I think it's broken. I reached out, groping. There was something laying there, a green shape in the darkness calling out to me like a beacon. Bree was wearing a green dress. I pulled myself closer. There was definitely the shape of a person in the shadows. It had to be her. If only the blood would stop dripping into my eyes, then I could see her. I reached out toward the shape and my hand brushed against something. Fingers? Bree! I grabbed the hand in front of me, but it was limp. No, maybe if I pull her over, I can see if she's still... I tried to pull her close. There was a wet popping sound and the arm came free of the motionless body in front of me. It slid effortlessly into my arms. Oh gosh, that's terrible. No! Bree! I curled around that single limb, paralyzed by the impossible realness of it all. Oh, no. Nick, you look like you're gonna be sick. That's for sure. Grayson put her arm around my shoulder to support me. I leaned on her and tried to control my trembling until I was able to catch my breath. Thanks. I'll be fine. Just give me a second. That leg, it just got to me. Sorry. I can keep it together. Well, you know, it's alright if you can't because, it's a dismembered body hanging on a tree. I don't think anybody would be alright. Okay, well, you know, we've looked at the body and the ground, so we can just cut him down now. I'm gonna cut him down. It just doesn't seem right leaving him like that. Yeah, go ahead. I've recorded everything on my phone already. She sawed at the rope with her pocket knife. It took a few minutes, but the rope finally snapped. The body unceremoniously thunked to the ground in a puff of red and white. Should we take a closer look? Someone strung him up. They could still be around here. Maybe looking will give us a clue. Yeah, maybe... take off the hood. I don't know if I want to do that yet. Let's see. I guess we'll look at his hands. Start simple. I bent down to look at his hands. His fingers were callous, nails caked with dirt and blood. Some of them were cracked and his thumbnail... Oh my gosh. Had been peeled completely backwards. Oh, I hate that. Look, there's something stuck in the blood. She was right. There were thick strands of fur glued to the palm of his hands. Fur? From the bear? But a bear couldn't hang someone. This really don't make sense. They don't make no sense at all. Well, gosh darn it, what about we gonna look at that torso then? There were multiple large animal bites covering his body, but most didn't seem to go in very deep. From the bear? Maybe he was wearing clothes when he was bitten? A bunch of people up here have pretty thick jackets because of the weather, after all. My eyes were drawn to a bite mark on his shoulder, which definitely looked like the worst of the injuries. Oh, gosh. Pieces of his flesh had been torn back, but it still didn't look like it would have killed him. The bite was nothing compared to how mangled the deer was. Maybe it was the same thing that did it? The sack around his neck was partially covering up the shoulder wound. Whatever bit him had huge jaws. Oh, I ain't got him before that bag was put around his head. Nick, I think, I don't know if I want to see under there. Well, I sure as heck do, 'cause we ain't got no other choice here. There ain't no, cancel or back away from the body and run for your life screaming through the woods, so let's take off the hood. I reached toward the hood and tried to pull it off. The bag crackled with frozen water, but remained fixed in place. The noose was pulled tight around the edges of the sack, folds of, oh gosh, purple skin peeking out from under the burlap flaps. It's too tight to remove without loosening the knot first. Oh, you don't need to do that now. Come on, Nick. You said it yourself. Whoever did this might still be here. We should get as much of a record as possible to take to the police. What if the killer moved the body or something? I handed her with my phone, which was still recording video. I pulled at the knot and managed to get it to slide up just enough to slip the bag off the man's head. I turned to Grayson. Ready? She nodded, looking ill but determined, and focused the recording phone on the dead man's head. Do it. The bag slid off the man's head. At first, I couldn't even comprehend what I was seeing. What are we seeing? What? Hair? The back of his head? But he's... If I can see his chest, the body is... Ah! Oh no! I almost threw up once I realized what I was seeing. His head had been twisted completely backwards, the face pressed into the ground and obscured by snow. His neck... Who could have done something like that? Why would someone decide to... The skin spiraled tightly, bits of beard and spots of acne caught up in that inhuman curve. Skin should have never looked like that. Another flashback. An owl hooted overhead while I lay curled around Bree's arm. I could hear the buzzing of flies growing louder around us. It's strange. The owl, these bugs, their life is completely the same as it was before. A gurgling moan cut through the air. It wasn't coming from the still body in front of me. It was over in the shadows on my right. Tyler? Hang on, Tyler, I'm coming, please. I tried to stand again. My broken leg wouldn't hold me, and I fell to the ground for a second time. I dragged myself over toward the noise. My vision was clearer now. The blood on my forehead congealed and ropey now that it was clotting. Oh. I could see something jerking in the shadows now. The shape would spasm and jitter for a few moments, then go absolutely still. Oh, no! Her scream brought me away from the horror in my head and back to the horror in front of me. Grayson, what's... She was crouched over the man's twisted head. While I was staring off, she must have flipped him on his side because... Oh no. Oh my gosh, is it her dad? I don't even want to think that. She must have flipped him on his side because his face was visible now. Oh my gosh, not the dad! Daddy, oh no, Daddy! Dad! My cell phone lay forgotten in the snow next to her. She shrieked. He looked surprised. Like he didn't expect to die, but... All those bite marks, why? No, you gotta get up. This has gotta be one of my bad dreams, Daddy! I can't let her keep looking at this. Oh gosh. I went over and crouched next to her. My mouth was so dry it was hard to swallow. Grayson, we need to go. You shouldn't look at this. I picked up my phone and stopped the video that was recording. Grayson turned toward me, face streaked with tears. It's real, isn't it? It's real? I'm really here? I nodded and she swallowed. I need to go. I can't be here. I need to be alone. She stood up, looking panicked. She was looking at anything but the body in front of us. Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea for her to just go off alone. You know, like, what could be out there? I don't even know. And plus, okay, I'm gonna sound a little selfish now, but, I actually want her to stay with me. So, I'm gonna be like, you know what, maybe you should stay. You shouldn't be alone right now. Come back to my cabin a week away from my mom and then go get the police. What do you know about what I should be doing? She was close to hysterical. Not that I could blame her. Her father's dead eyes were staring blankly toward us. I shuddered. Just trust me. You think being alone is what you want. But it isn't. My voice cracked. Please just listen to me. Please. Don't make me say it. Don't make me say it. I know what I want, Nick. I know. You don't know nothing about this. She clutched at her chest, and I knew exactly how her heart was breaking into pieces. We're the same now. It's the same thing I've been feeling ever since Bree. Yeah, I feel for you, girl. Tell her about the accident. Maybe that wasn't a good idea, but oh well. This past summer, I watched my best friends die. I whispered the words so softly they were almost lost in the breeze. Grayson still heard them though, and she went quiet, her eyes going wide. It was a car accident. They it wasn't I looked up and she stepped back. She stepped back at the oppressed excuse me. I looked up and she stepped back at the expression on my face. The way they looked, it was wrong. Her arm was his head was oh, he's in that trance now. But what I'm trying to say is that after it happened, I thought I wanted to be alone, but every time I am, it's worse, Grayson. It's so much worse. You don't want to be alone. Not really. She reached out to me and grabbed my hands. Her touch was so warm and alive. Tears were falling down her cheeks again. I don't know if it'll make me feel better to come with you, Nick, but I don't think it'll make me feel worse. And if I go off alone, you're gonna be alone too, huh? Oh, no, that's not what I... Yes, that's what you meant, Nick, because that is what I meant. That's what I've been seeing on your face, huh? All them times you've been looking off, you was seeing your friends. She's incredibly intuitive. You don't have to worry about me. I think worrying about you is just about the only thing keeping me together right now. She smiled, and it was so full of sorrow that I just burst into tears. Oh my gosh. Why am I crying? It's her dad that's dead. I've had 4 months to get over my crap. This is so embarrassing. Come on, let's go back to your cabin. I'm sure I got lots more crying to do myself once we get there. We walked back in silence. Occasionally, one of us would take a shuddering breath and we would lean into one another. She broke down twice, and each time I stood there and let her sob into my shoulder. I better make sure we avoid that deer. Neither of us needs to see any more corpses right now. Oh, gosh. Thank goodness we made it back to the cabin. When we got back to the cabin, the lights were still on. I left the TV on in the bedroom, and it was playing a talk show rerun. I'm glad I forgot to turn everything off. I don't know if I could handle it being quiet in here, you know, with all the, corpses and stuff. I'm gonna lay down for a bit. I slept real bad last night, and well, is it alright if I use one of the beds? Yeah, sure. Can I leave the bedroom door open? She nodded. So long as it's alright to leave the TV on, I'm thinking it helps. Yeah, I think so too. She went wearily over to the unmade bed I had slept in the night before and curled up in a ball, her head buried in the pillow. I pulled out my phone and saw the video app was still open. I closed it out and pulled up a cheery-looking bubble matching game. Oh, I wonder who that could be. Perfect. I can just zone out to Candy Crush and try not to think. Hours passed that way. I matched colored bubbles in the living room and looked over at Grayson every now and then. She'd fallen asleep in a way that only a person consumed by grief could. It was a sleep that was both restless and deep, like being drowned at the bottom of a black sea. The sun was setting now, and there was no sign of my mom. The road must still be closed, like the news had forecast earlier. Who's that? Who dat at the door? Who dat? I jumped at the sound and looked over at Grayson, but she was still asleep. I went over and closed the bedroom door so I wouldn't wake her. I forgot. Felix said he was coming tonight. Maybe he can help. No, sir. How about come again another time? Oh, not this guy. Not this guy. I answered the front door and Felix was standing there. He was a little further back than he was before, probably because I'd almost run into him twice. He was holding an old videotape. Did I really only see him this morning? It feels like it's been so much longer. Has your mother returned? I picked something we all might enjoy watching. Oh man, am I glad to see you. Do you know if there's a working phone anywhere? We need to call the cops. Why? Because of the dead deer down the road? I hardly see why the police need to be called over a thing like that. Anyway, it's a nature documentary about... What? No, there's been a murder! A man, he was... Felix cocked his head and furrowed his brow in concern. He looked in from the doorway, his eyes flickering around the room as if searching for traces of blood. What, man, you think I killed somebody?
Are you alright? What did you see?
Never mind about that. Do you have a working phone or a way to get into town? Come on, please, Felix, help me out here, man. He shrugged regretfully and sighed, fingers playing with the edges of the tape.
No, I don't actually. The road is still closed and I'm embarrassed to admit it, but something took out the rest of the phone lines up here after yours disconnected. It's the entire system that's down right now.
Why is he blushing? Dang it! Wait, I have an idea. Maybe someone else up here has a satellite phone. We could go and check. Why didn't I think of that earlier?
I guess that means our movie plans are ruined.
Yeah, man, it was a murder. What do you think? Why are you still thinking about coming over and watching the movie? That's not important right now. It's not about you, Felix.
What did the body look like? Did that bear kill him?
No, I told you it was a murder. Somebody hung him naked from a tree. I felt ill just saying it. I looked back over my shoulder at my phone and shivered. And I was disgusting enough to record it. Grayson's dad. I made a video of her dad swinging there in the hood and... Oh. Felix followed my gaze to my phone and seemed to realize what it meant.
You took pictures?
His voice was quiet and I couldn't tell if it was more of a question or an accusation. What are you telling him? A video, actually. I recorded it.
May I come in and watch it? Maybe I can assist.
No, freak! I really think we should just try to see if someone has a satellite phone.
Nick, I know you're in a panic, but think. Any one of those tenants could be your murderer. Maybe I'll be able to see something you missed. I should look at the video before we go.
No? You could be the murderer, Felix. I don't trust you. No! You really don't need to see it. I wish I hadn't even made it. All you need to know is somebody hung a man. The police can deal with it. I'll show it to them. He looks annoyed? I mean, come on, man. You know you don't really want to see it? You get off on this stuff or what? Like...
This is my father's property. I have every right to see what happened on it. Show me the video, Nick.
Maybe later. I really don't want to do it right now. It makes me feel kind of sick just thinking about it.
Fine. Have it your way, then.
I relaxed. I really didn't want to relive that awful moment again. Plus, like... What?
If you really want to see if someone has a way of contacting the town, we should go. It's already getting dark, and I'd prefer not to wake my guests.
Yeah, man. Hold on. Let me see if Grayson wants to come. He looked surprised.
Miss Grayson is here? Does she know?
You know her? And know about what? The body? Yeah, she was there. It was her father.
So it was Mr. Nash. That's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate.
That's all you could say?
Well, I suppose you should go check on her then.
I went to go tell Grayson that I was leaving, but she was still so deeply asleep that I didn't want to wake her. She probably won't be able to sleep like that very often anymore, not with what happened. I better not bother her. She's still asleep. Might as well let her since, well, we might not even find a phone. I don't want to get her hopes up.
Very well. Shall we?
Leave her a note? Yeah, 'cause what if this man kills me? Let me leave her a note. We gotta stick together. Sure, just give me a second to leave her a note and we could go. I scribbled out a quick note and left it in the middle of the small dining table in the front room. Went with Felix to look for a way to call the police. Be back soon. Okay, great. He told her who he was going to be with and where he was gonna go. Great. So this might be my saving grace in case anything happened to me. Be back soon, Nick. Love ya. I met Felix outside and we started the walk over to the nearest cabin, which was about a half a mile away.
Are you enjoying your stay out here?
No? What do you think?
Well, besides the, body, terrible, just terrible. I still can't believe it.
This guy just doesn't get it. Well, it does look, nice out here, so, your dad owns this place? Really don't need to talk about the body anymore, just have to focus on finding a way to get to the police out here.
Well, I own this place. Given my age, I find it easier to simply say I am assisting my father. At times, the older guests say, well, an 18-year-old boy is not always respected. It's part of why I hired Mr. Nash to assist in day-to-day management.
Then he just had to go and get himself killed. I'm going to have trouble hiring anyone new? What kind of response is that, Felix? This man just was brutally murdered and hanged. Then he just had to go and get himself killed. Well, gosh dang it. Now I'm going to have to find myself somebody else. His expression darkened as he spoke. That's kind of cold, man. He literally just died, like, in the cold.
You're right, of course. I should be more sympathetic. I don't want to risk my home or my business, and, well, this most certainly will. No fault on Mr. Nash's part, obviously, just tragedy can make you think of strange things.
No, you are strange. You're the only one thinking this man's life is tragic. I couldn't stop thinking about the flies landing on their bodies, so yeah, I guess he's right. Strange things. Yeah, I suppose so.
This property has been in my family for over a century. We built these cabins, you know. Do you like them?
They're, very nice. For a moment, he went quiet, and I thought the conversation was over. Or rather, I hope the conversation was over.
He passed away pretty unexpectedly, my birth father.
Oh, so sorry to hear that. Gosh, it must be hard having to find a new father, you know. He just had to go on and die.
He was not the smartest of men, never really understood what was important. Almost lost everything we had worked for. In a way, it was lucky he died.
I inherited his land, and my godfather paid off his debts, so it wasn't reclaimed by his creditors. Jeez. TMI, oversharing much?
So you're,
So your, godfather gave you this place after your dad died? Does he live around here too? An indiscernible look flickered across his face.
He did not give it to me. This place has always been mine. And no, not anymore.
Just trying to sound interested in your complicated ownership story. No need to look annoyed. And what happened to,
Oh, I helped my father out around this place.
You know, like, if he's dead, so...
So, what about your parents? You like them, do you?
He looked at me intently, as if eager to know my response. Yeah, I like them fine.
No arguments, no misunderstandings. They haven't done anything to hurt you.
What kind of question is this? What? No, I mean, sure, sometimes they're annoying, but...
My mistake, then.
What is this guy getting at? My thought exactly.
I thought I heard you fighting with your mother last night, you know, before the phones cut off. I was doing my first rounds of stalking you, of course, Nick.
What? You were watching me? Oh, no, not at all. You were just fairly loud.
I was curious because of my own experiences. I know what resentment like that feels like.
You don't know nothing about me, Felix. Well, it isn't that. She just thinks I can't handle myself. It's not the same.
I see. But of course you can handle it yourself. It's what you've been looking off at, right? Somebody you know died, and you saw it, yet here you are, holding yourself together, even after seeing another corpse. That seems like handling yourself to me.
This guy is really, like... He sounded almost impressed. You don't know me, Felix. I don't even know me. Oh, how would you know anything about that? He raised his hands up defensively.
Simply that we are brothers in suffering. I told you my father died, but that was not the whole matter. He killed himself. Sliced his own throat open in front of me. Perhaps he thought I was ungrateful.
Oh my gosh, if he's 18, then that had to have been only a few years ago. Oh, that's really... It's really horrible, man. I can't even...
I think you can. I saw it in you from the beginning. When you threw that door open, I thought, now here is a man that knows suffering.
Okay, take a minute to really think about that. Can you imagine just knocking on the door? The person opens it and you just look in their eyes and you just know. Now here is a man that knows suffering. I mean, who thinks that? How?
How could I tell? Because I know my own soul, Nick. I know it. I see it here.
He reached out and made a gesture that framed my face, his hand hovering only an inch away from my skin.
You look the same tonight as you did last night. Now tell me how that can be when you found a body today.
What is he doing?
Because what you saw before, it was worse. I know, because I have seen worse too.
He paused to take a long look at me. It was ice cold outside, but I was sweating, chill droplets streaking down the sides of my face.
You were close to them?
They were my best friends. Of course I was... Why am I telling him any of this?
You can tell me, Nick. I know how you feel.
Okay. You know what? Let's save this for the next time. See how much we talk it up with Felix, or if we decide to change the subject. But okay, yeah. There we go.